At that moment the regent spoke to a sudden group of people that appeared. "Thank you for coming to my rescue just now. You must be from the Salmon Mu family, right?" "Grandma Mu Ziox," he said, "you must be the regent of the underground palace, right?" The nearby Mu Yutan echoed, "Since General Mang's reputation is known, we are not outsiders. We hope that both sides do not meet in combat." At this moment the regent secretly wondered whether they were enemies or friends. It seems that not just a few people came. That big door was split open by the wooden family's shaman's knife technique, right? They seem to have brought many experts, so many experts have arrived. Wang Gongbong also felt something was off, while General Wu had an excited expression. The time has come as Wang Gongbong, the second in command of Shenhagu in Jiyuku. Now he tragically fell victim to betrayal and was assassinated by his subordinates. Just now, King Yu, who had originally fainted, was already awake. The hovering figure quickly asked, "King Yu, you're awake. How do you feel?" King Yu slowly propped herself up and said, "I'm fine, just feeling a bit weak. Didn't we just get burned to death by the spirit of ghost flames? What happened? Beneath our flawed hearts and the demons of despair. But at a crucial moment, someone called Ming to take away the ghost flame, and we were saved." Hearing this, King Yu looked puzzled and asked, "Have we been saved? Who invited Nam Mingcha?" "It was the Mu family, and if they hadn't acted in time, we have now fully entered the underworld." Hearing that it was a member of the Mu family, King Yu felt utterly confused. How could this be? "I have always wanted to kill the two of them, even as the ghost flame spirit wreaks havoc." As the chaos of the Mu family entering unfolded, General Wu had already slipped up onto the city wall amidst the turmoil. Seeing many skilled individuals, Wang Gongbong thought to himself that the outer layer probably couldn't be defended any more. Now we can only hold on with all our might. If we can just delay for a while longer, the Emperor will achieve great success. Then Wang Gongbong issued a command to the soldiers, and they responded to the order. All weapons raised. Summon the general in red, but unexpectedly the soldiers showed no reaction at all. At this moment Wang Gongbong was filled with rage, and just then a soldier spoke up. "Father-in-law, I believe the current task does not require the effort of the red-clad general." Wu said, "Didn't you see what's happening below? Stop wasting time. Quickly execute the orders." "Father-in-law, there's really no need for that. Just take a look." After speaking, the general waved his hand, and countless sharp swords pierced through Wang Gongbong's body. Wang Gongbong trembled and asked why. Then, behind the soldier, someone spoke. "Father-in-law, since these are all my subordinates, they naturally must follow my orders. You must know that once this troop sees me, they will no longer heed anyone's orders. There's no need to call upon the red-robed general to deal with you." In the end, Wang Gongbong fell from the city wall, murmuring to himself, "Your Highness, you must protect the Emperor. I fear I won't last until he finishes painting the dragon." As the general appeared before them, the soldiers seemed to lose their sense of self again. Only to obediently follow his orders, the zombie took care of Wang Gongbong. The general issued a command to the soldiers, awakening the red-clad general. In no time the soldiers began to beat drums and gongs to awaken the red general. At the banquet, a red light shot straight into the sky from the city wall. The General Wu quietly said to the city tower, "Old buddy, it has been sleeping for hundreds of years. It should wake up now." The Ming dynasty's red-clad general, who has slept for hundreds of years, is now awakened by Wu Sangui. The outcome was surprising just not long ago. General Wu looked at the red light emerging from the watchtower, and a smile involuntarily appeared at the corner of his mouth. As the drumbeat stopped, the tower gate creaked open. A general draped in a red cloak slowly emerged. He slowly said, "Who dares to trespass on the general's residence? I will ensure that you suffer the consequences." The general, seeing that the scarlet commander has been awakened, eagerly gives orders. "General Wu, let the red-cloaked general show those guys your power. Let them all turn to ashes." As the cannon fired, he did not expect that the red-clad general would have no reaction at all. After a long time, the general in red spoke up. "General Wu, it seems you have no power over me. Arrogant, I am the supreme commander here. It was I who placed you here back then. If it weren't for me, you'd be scrap metal by now. You belong to me, and now that I have returned, you should continue to obey me." At that moment a dragon's roar echoed, and a young boy stepped out from behind the door, saying, "The red-clad general belongs to our family. Trust in it. We should settle our accounts for the battle. Without thieves, our family has treated you well, yet you have turned against us and sided with the enemy. If you eliminate your employer completely for wealth, today will not let you escape unscathed. How can we honor our ancestors?" The general cried out in pain as the dragon energy from the young leader burned him fiercely. The soldiers nearby intended to rush in for a rescue, but the young leader had already seen through this. The soldiers were enchanted by the sorcery of the untrustworthy thief, and immediately unleashed a sharp dragon strike to disperse the ashes. Before the soldiers could react, a burst of yellow light enveloped them. "Soldiers, you are free. I have forced those things out of your bodies." At that moment, the soldiers suddenly realized they had been controlled by the Soul Control Valley all along. Willing to abandon the darkness for the light, this prince will not hold past grievances if you still wish to remain loyal and without treachery. Come at me, I will slay the thief right now." The little leader unleashed a move called Kanglong Beitui, directly slicing General Wu in half. But unexpectedly, the cunning General Wu split himself and fled the home. "All right, you thief, feel free to show any skills you have. If you have helpers, call them out. This prince wants to see you in despair, your soul scattered. His Highness has somehow lifted the restrictions on the true dragon's power. Will the Mu family save the general who is desperate and seeking help?" After unleashing the power of the true dragon, the first thing the little leader did was to execute Wu Sen Gui. Just now, General Wu, pushed to a dead end by the young leader, hurriedly sought help from the Mu family. "Aren't you here to stop the villain from using dragon creation techniques? He is the one you're talking about. Hurry and take him down. Isn't that the little helper we should be assisting? Looks like they are even tougher to deal with than before." Mu Yutian also agreed, saying, "Yes, his power seems to have broken free from its limits. It seems that the giant Mu family has been hesitant to act for a long time after wresting from the dragon's summoning technique." General Wu was anxious, jumping up and down. "Everyone stop pondering and quickly take him down. With so many experts, we will definitely succeed. This menace cannot be allowed to remain." Hearing this, Grandma Mu Zioxi slowly said, "General, please remain calm. We can see that his strength is indeed very powerful, but that doesn't mean we are completely powerless to resist. We meet again, friends of the Mu family. Are you here to rescue Uzai? If so, I give you the chance." Upon hearing this, Mu Zioxi's grandmother said, "The actions of General Wu during his lifetime are indeed unknown to many. But now he helped us get in here, and now he is in trouble. Logically, we shouldn't ignore it just when General Wu thought the Mu family was going to deal with the young leader. Yet I didn't expect it to be pointed directly at me, frozen in thought." The general was somewhat surprised and asked, "Hey, what are you doing?" "I'm not doing anything. I just have something I'm confused about and want to ask General Wu." After awaking the red-clothed general, you order to open fire. You think I didn't see that the target they are pointing at is us, right? Actually, from the beginning, you planned to use us to fight against the people inside the barrier. When you regain control, you will eliminate us along with it and re-enable the dragon-making rat right. The swordsmanship scheme was exposed, and the general had nothing to say at this moment. Let Grandma Muzayakse take action unexpectedly. Granny Muzayakse unexpectedly put down her soul. If you are unkind, we cannot be unjust. No matter how you put it, we summoned you here. If I were to kill you, it would be rather rude. All right, you ancient people can settle your grievances among yourselves. We won't interfere. Hee, besides being scared out of my wits, what else could I do next? At that moment, the little helper leaped behind General Wu. With a wave of his hand, he summoned the Jaya along and exclaimed, "It's rare to have a chance for redemption. You still remain obsessed, you dog thief. Close your eyes, with a heavy heart, caught in between, switching sides and betraying. It is the employer seeking glory, the traitor causing chaos, resulting in neglect of the common people. Your sins. Celebration is hard to lose. Die." But at that moment, a powerful force stopped the little leader. A massive smoking pike sheltered General Wu behind it. The fourth son of Emperor Longjun, Shu Sai, unexpectedly gave birth to a dragon at the Shanghai Palace. As soon as the transformation into a dragon was completed, the plan to take revenge on Wusangui began. Just then, a huge smoking rod fell from the sky, separating the two. It was Mu family's ancestral great-aunt who acted. "Senior, how did you come out?" "I didn't want to either, but Your Highness, you were too impulsive. It's my fault for only reminiscing with Your Majesty and not having time to inform you, almost causing a major mistake." Hearing this, the young leader felt puzzled and asked, "What big matter requires keeping the dog thief alive?" At that moment, Mu family's great-aunt took a deep drag of her cigarette and said slowly, "I haven't played this game for hundreds of years, but today fate has other plans. Your appearance was unexpected. It is precisely because of you that I cannot eliminate the traitors now. So it must be kept." Meanwhile, the Mu family members saw the appearance of the great-grand-aunt. Everyone kneels to greet ancestor Tegu. "Hello, children. You don't need to be so formal. Please rise." At that moment, General Wu hurriedly asked Mu's great-grandmother, "You are here to save me, right?" Mu family's ancestor sighed and said, "General Wu, I indeed cannot let you disappear." Hearing this, Commander Wu laughed heartily, saying, "It's still old friends who can be relied on. It seems that I am not destined to die. The white-haired child and the purple cloud fairy are protecting me, so you likely cannot harm me. Damn it, Wu Zui, today no one can stop me from killing you." As soon as the words fell, the young leader unleashed the power of the true dragon to kill General Wu. Mu family's ancestral elder quickly exhaled a puff of purple smoke, shielding General Wu. No matter how the young leader attacked, it was all in vain, and this series of actions left Muzayakse's grandmother quite astonished. "Great ancestor, which side should our family support? The younger generation is dull-witted and asks for your guidance." Child, people always like to see things in black and white. Little do we know, there is white within black and black within white. We are not here to aid certain people, but to stand with the natural order. Everything is arranged, the situation is set, and it will soon be revealed after a moment. At this moment, the young leader abandoned the idea of killing General Wu and, panting, asked Mu family's grand-aunt what this truly meant. "Why protect the traitor Wu? Your Highness must be exhausted. Take a rest. You can't break my purple mist, so don't waste your effort." Don't exhaust your spiritual power too much. You might not be able to recover it when you need it later. As for General Wu with me here, no one can touch him now. It was nothing to want to eliminate him in the first place. But who could have expected that His Highness would desire this powerful true dragon's strength? Now there's no way out. I must protect him first. As for why I keep him and until when, that will only be revealed when they arrive. Before this, I advise anyone here not to act rashly. I don't want to go on a killing spree. Now let me see. Who is the famous Zital or Qing? Mu family's ancestral matriarchy's strength is so formidable that even the underground palace's ruler, Qing, cannot withstand a single blow. Just now, after Mu family's ancestor Tai Gu reclaimed Wu Sangui, she approached everyone and asked, "Who is the renowned Qinshin Qing?" Qing was taken aback and asked, "Immortal, I am Qing. What brings you here?" Knowing that the woman before you is Zitala Qing. Mu family's great aunt said nothing and directly picked her up to take her away at that moment. The regent saw this and shouted loudly, "Old woman, what are you doing?" The assistant beside her also shouted angrily, "Let her go, dare to harm Qing. Even if you have a halo over your head, we dare to fight you to the death." Before the two could launch their attack, Wu family's ancestral matriarch exhaled a cloud of purple smoke, enveloping the two and rendering them unable to move. "Qing, having someone treat you like this is truly worthwhile. All right, stop exerting yourself. I have sealed your spiritual pulse. You cannot use magic." Upon seeing this, Qing asked, "What have you done to them? What do you want to do?" Hearing this, the Mu family's ancestor spoke. "All right, don't be so excited. I just want them to tell the truth. If I had bad intentions." You reported to King Yan in the morning, and after that, Mu family's ancestor asked Qing to kneel down. Qing was a bit surprised to hear this. "What? She nearly killed me. You want me to kneel to her after she harmed Fu Duo and the prince like that?" Hearing this, the matriarch of the Mu family waved her hand and commanded, "Kneel down." Facing the power of an emperor-level being, Qing immediately knelt down with a thud. "Senior, if you want to kill me, just do it. Why humiliate me like this? I won't kneel to my enemies." I let you kneel down, facing such overwhelming power, like a weight pressing down from Mount Tai. At this moment, Qing was struggling to hold on when beside her Wang Gongmeng spoke up tremulously. "Ziyan Ziyan Gu, I appreciate your good intentions, but please don't make it difficult for her, no matter what. She is still my disciple. Why care about the situation? If I don't hold back, I won't show mercy either." Hearing this, Qing asked in confusion, "What do you mean, Qing? Do you really think you can go against the elder? She's the one who has been accommodating you all along." Later, Mang Tianlong summoned the spirit of ghost flames, and the eunuch could have used the flame spirit's characteristics to eliminate you first. A couple of hits wouldn't be fatal for her, but she didn't do that. Later, the spirit of the ghost flame was captured, and Mang Tianlong and Fu Duo were injured. When you fainted, she could have easily finished you off. In the end, she just didn't want you to die. Father-in-law, I was right. Immortal lady, a eunuch cannot have descendants. So there is an indescribable feeling towards those who inherit the mixed teachings. I truly do not know what Qing feels about this female hero and assassin. The Mu family matriarch said to her, "Qing, call him master now. The elder doesn't have much time left." At that moment, Qing just glanced at Wang Gongbong and remained silent. "Forget it. Don't push her. It doesn't matter what she's called. Having her is enough for the family. Ziyan Gu, I can't go on like this. Please hurry and take me back to His Majesty. If I could just take a glance at her painting of the dragon, I would have no more regrets." "All right, I'll take you back now. His Majesty should know about the eunuch's loyalty to the throne. Hold on, we are going to see His Majesty right now." Just as the two of them left, something unexpected happened. "King Yu spoke up, Master. I bow to you, seeing King Yu kneel and call herself Master." The royal official couldn't help but smile. He bowed to me, and I felt so happy. Taking one last look at your Majesty's dragon might, I feel completely fulfilled and content. At first, a comment from Mu family's great-aunt stunned Lord Wan. "I hope you won't be disappointed when you meet the Emperor. You have painted the ascended Emperor Chang'an as a dragon, yet now you willingly abandon your dragon form and cultivation. Just now I passed it on to my fourth son, Ju Sijao." Mu family's great-aunt brought the barely breathing Prince Wan to meet Chang'an. Upon seeing the appearance of His Majesty, Eunuch Wan was somewhat taken aback, and then he spat out a mouthful of old blood. Muttering about how this could happen, the Mu family's great-aunt quickly urged him to calm down. "Let's first listen to what your Majesty has to say. What's wrong, Fairy? What's the matter with the eunuch?" Upon hearing this, Mu's ancestral great-aunt explained the situation to him. "Your Majesty, while your father-in-law was stalling for time outside, he was ambushed by an octopus and struck by the soul-snatching sword from the sword tower. If it weren't for his cultivation behind him, he wouldn't have been able to return to see you." As soon as this was said, Chang'an quickly stepped forward to support Grand Eunuch Wang, saying, "It's all because of me." "Grandfather, hold on, you will be fine. The fairy will definitely cure you. I command you not to make a sound, do you hear me?" Upon hearing this, the royal attendant trembled with authority. "This time I fear I cannot obey your command, your Majesty. Tell me, why have you changed back again? Haven't you already transformed into a dragon?" "Yes, I have succeeded. Only after the fairy arrived did I realize that being a dragon isn't so easy. To bear the heavy responsibility of governing the spirit world, reflecting on my brief life, I no longer want to be a ruler who takes action, so I gave all my dragon's power to Zhao Er. If the limitations of his true dragon power are not lifted, how can he face so many masters in the martial world? I initially didn't intend to do this, but when he asked me if I personally killed the princesses, I am overwhelmed with shame, speechless. For hundreds of years, this matter has tormented me. I apologized to my loved ones when Zhao Er demanded power from me. I think this is the only way to relieve the emotional burden, so I gave it to him. Your Majesty, this old servant understands, but without cultivation, what are your plans for the future?" At this moment, Chang'an supported Wan Gongbong and said somewhat excitedly, "The fairy agreed to take us in. Let's go back to the fairy mountain. Father, hold on. Once we heal, we will leave and distance ourselves from all conflicts." Hearing this, Wan Gongbong said word by word, "All right, do not concern yourself with worldly affairs, stay away from conflicts, and have no more worries. But the old servant can only transform into ghostly flames, forever following and guarding you, your Majesty, wherever you go." In the end, Wang Gongbong transformed into wisps of smoke and vanished before Chang'an's eyes. After Wang Gongbong left, Mu family's great-aunt arrived at the outer barrier. As the binding of the regent Wan and the repeating Xian was lifted, the two were just released. The regent said, "Immortal, your powers are formidable. We are willing to bow down. However, we are determined to master the dragon creation technique, even if it costs us our lives. We will not yield." At that moment, King Yu quickly urged the two to calm down. Then, facing the Mu family ancestor, he said, "Immortal, at this point, the younger generation has realized that you had everything planned from the beginning. Since you have achieved the status of an immortal, you would not interfere in the disputes of us juniors for no reason. Now that so many people have gathered here, what exactly do you want to do? Please tell us. You flatter me, King you. This matter involves the entire spirit world. It's not something I can decide on my own. Two great masters, please reveal yourselves. I know you are here. As soon as Mu's family's ancestors' voice fell, the sounds of Husan Taiyi and Husan Tai came from the sky. Zhuan, you really did it. We ended up being a step too late. I just observed the true dragon's power here for a moment. Why did it vanish like a fleeting bloom? Surely someone has been secretly practicing the dragon creation technique here. This was all arranged by you, wasn't it? You, who are hidden here, must have already become a true dragon, but it seems the art of dragon creation has also disappeared. It seems this person is meant for the king, Zhuan. You intentionally let him secretly train here behind our backs, didn't you? He became a king and mastered dragon transformation, and then the dragon technique was gone, leaving us with no options, right? Hearing this, Mu family's ancestor said coldly, "You two deities. Now that it has come to this, I no longer need to hide. We have known each other for many years. Please don't turn against me without hearing the reason. Mu Zhuan at the Earth line level is now taking action against the Northeast Immortal Elder Husan Taiyi and Husan Tai. What just happened was that Husan Taiyi and Husan Tai questioned Mu Zhuan. Once he became a king, the dragon-making technique disappeared, and then we had no choices left, right?" Hearing this, Mu Zhuan said coldly, "Two immortals. At this point, I no longer need to hide. We've been together for many years. Two of you, please don't turn against me without hearing the reason." Hearing this, Grandfather Husan angrily said, "Zhuan, I don't think there's anything to explain. You are cultivating immortality and probably don't think much of us. San Tai, if you say that, it loses its meaning." Beside him, Husan Tai advised Husan Tai not to rush. "Let's hear his explanation first, Zhuan. With our years of friendship, we can speak frankly. Why are you doing this behind our backs?" Mu Zhuan said slowly, "All right, I'll be straightforward. Establishing a celestial court and its regulations is not a bad thing. But one should not exploit the art of dragon creation, which can elevate a person to the heavens. This item is originally the root of trouble if it becomes the stepping stone to dominate the spirit world. From then on, it was not just humans fighting for it. Even you hermits who live deep in the mountains can harbor greedy ambitions. The consequences will be severe. I admit I have selfish motives, but I pity His Majesty and want to help him. This not only fulfilled your Majesty's wishes, but also ended the root of the dragon creation technique." Hearing this, Husan Tai let out a cold hum. "So you've been planning this from the very beginning. I want your Majesty to naturally ascend to the position of the Lord of the Spirit Realm. Mu Zhuan, it seems that the matter of our immortal family's leadership isn't something you can manipulate from behind the scenes. Do you know you've crossed the line, San Tai? This is serious, isn't it? I just want to eliminate the root of conflict in the martial world. Moreover, your Majesty does not wish to be the Lord of the Spirit Realm. He has already given up his dragon form." Upon hearing this, Husan Taiyi and Husan Tai were filled with rage. "What do you mean? You're saying that everything is gone now, and our plan is ruined, right? Mu Zhuan, if you don't give us a satisfactory explanation for this matter, don't blame us for being ruthless. Don't say we're bullying you if things come to blows." Mu Zhuan saw that the other party wasn't listening at all, so she leaped up and shouted loudly. Wow, Mu Zhingshan beside me was extremely shocked. "Yes, Elder Aunt, I wasn't mistaken. That is indeed Grandfather Husan and Grandmother Husan. How could he possibly fight with these two?" Seeing this, Mu Zingshan quickly asked everyone to go persuade the old lady. Xingtian, don't worry. The old lady has profound skills and will surely act with discretion. That's right. Besides, what kind of status does Husan Tai's grandmother hold? You shouldn't just turn your back like that. At that moment, Grandpa Husan and Grandma Husan's bodies transformed into two puppets. Mu Zian looked at the puppet on the ground and said, I said, you sisters are taking this joke a bit too far, aren't you? What else are you afraid to impersonate? Even at 100 years old, still playing with such trivial skills. Bugyo Guanli Hong, your spirit puppet technique has indeed made great progress. All right, come out, stop being sneaky. As Mu Zian's voice fell, a mass of red, unidentified substance suddenly surged from the ground. Aha, elder sister, just joking. This little trick can't fool you, of course. When it comes to skills, we sisters humbly bowed down. However, elder sister, some things cannot be blocked by magic. Since the dragon creation technique has been destroyed, the purpose of your Mu family has been achieved. It's best to leave immediately. Considering we are fellow townsfolk, I won't hold it against you and will let you go this time. Otherwise, upon hearing Zhen Muzian asked, what do you want to do? We're not doing anything, just thinking. Tu Cheng. Yizhuan hurriedly advised Shanshihong not to waste words with him. Let him witness the power of the ancient gods. All right, since that's the case. Then don't blame me for not cherishing old friendships. Come out. Devour the ancient gods, transform insects into the ancient, become the king of the ancient. I am Wan Shengshen, unparalleled in the world. Mu Zian, I advise you one last time. Leave here with your family immediately. Otherwise, it will be too late for regret. Hearing this, Mu Zian slowly said, Shan Lai Hong, I advise you one last time. Stop messing around. It's about establishing order in the spirit world. You are meddling in a great affair of the immortals. Mu Zian, give it a rest. The originally simple struggle for the dragon. You've secretly turned things into this. If you have lost the dragon-making technique, what order can you establish? I see the one truly causing trouble is you, Mu Zian. Since the art of dragon creation has been destroyed, those who transform into dragons have abandoned their dragon forms. From then on, the best order would be survival of the fittest. All things in the world have spirits. Naturally, this includes goo, as everyone can cultivate their dharma body. It's just that no one has done it before. It's different now. I finally trained my first ancient insect spirit. In the past, ancient techniques only affected mortals. Even now, it's as if the spirit remains. I can also make Tao angry. Facing the ancient spirit of the red mountain bug, Mu Zian said calmly, to cultivate a true body from the ancient insect is indeed unprecedented. But you want to show off in front of me with this thing. Aren't you being a bit overconfident? Hearing this, Shan Leong said, You are the emperor immortal, so you can withstand it. But once I release the ancient god, the others here can't be said to be good. Aren't you afraid of hurting your family's younger generation? Of course I'm scared, so to guard against you, I specifically kept your weakness. In the mountains, the bodies of others ultimately belong to others. Hearing this, Shan Lihong felt a bit puzzled. What does this mean? Wu Zian waved her hand and said, You will know it when you see him. This person should have been eliminated long ago. I keep him around to guard against you. Shan Lihong, this is all your own doing. I wish I could avoid my older sister. I won't let you go. I'm afraid all my previous efforts will be in vain. Sister, take a look at who this is. Upon seeing General Wu, in the mountains, the heart of Shan Lihong beats rapidly. General Wu was somewhat surprised to see the mountain red. He asked, "Beloved concubine, is that you? How did you end up here? Where have you been all these years? My beloved concubine, I miss you so much." After speaking, General Wu walked towards the red mountain. Meanwhile, Shanley Hong's body gradually lost control. General Wu held the mountain rose tightly in his arms. "I really didn't expect to see you again." But at this moment, Shanley Hong was struggling deeply within. "No, don't. I can't lose control of this body any more." A woman dressed in red lies quietly on the bed at dusk. There are still some spells above her that suppress her here. What is going on? This story takes place during the Republican era. On this day, Mu Zioqian sat on the eaves murmuring, "It's been more than half a year since we went down the mountain, right? These evil spirits, ghosts, and zombies are also quite daring. Why is it that not even a lowly ghost dragon has emerged? Do you think this fickle ghost is just idly messing with us?" Hearing this, the weasel Ziola, who was lying on Mu Zioqian's lap, said, "I said, Mu Zioqian, when will you be able to change this habit of talking nonsense whenever you drink?" But at that moment an oblivious bird dropped a pile of droppings on Mu Zioqian's hand. Furious, he immediately pulled out the yin-yang three-eyed bug from his pocket. The yellow weasel Ziola saw this and advised, "Why are you still so energetic? Why are you pulling that thing out again?" But this couldn't persuade Mu Zioqian. He ignited a flicker of fire in his hand, lighting up the shadow of the firefly. With a loud bang, the little bird was shot by Mu Zioqian. It fell straight down and pierced through the tiles on the eaves. Coincidentally, the bird's claw was still clutching a talisman. Unexpectedly, beneath the eaves where the little bird landed lay a woman dressed in red. Above her were some charms and a candle on the right side. Suddenly, the woman in red slowly raised her left hand. Meanwhile, the little cat on the eaves was watching all of this. Seeing this situation, she was so scared that she ran away. This action of the kitten also caught the attention of the two people under the eaves. They were puzzled about what was going on with the cat. Of course, they didn't take this matter to heart. Walking slowly towards the old house where the kitten just jumped down. At that moment, the woman in light clothing spoke up. "He doesn't seem to be home. Where could he have gone at this time?" The old woman nearby said they probably left in a hurry. The lightly dressed woman looked at the unlocked door and said, "Why is the strange door not locked?" "Just right. I haven't been inside this old house yet." After the two entered the old house, the elderly woman said to the young woman beside her, "Tian Jiangwei, why do you insist on marrying Mr. Zhu in this remote old house? Isn't it more convenient to stay at our inn?" Hearing the lightly dressed woman, Manager Tian, say, "Stepmom, you don't understand this, do you? The inn is more convenient, but after all, it's life. Doesn't it feel like there's no home amidst the flow of people?" What they didn't know was, at dusk, you will encounter a little girl crawling out of a mirror. Pay attention, a little girl suddenly emerged from this mirror. Yet the woman before him is completely unaware of this. As soon as night fell that day, Tian Jiangwei lit the lamp with a candle. At the same time, the voice of the stepmother could be heard. "Then you'll have to run back and forth in the future." Hearing the shopkeeper Tian say, "It's nothing. It's good to exercise." During this time, shopkeeper Tian suggested that we should go back once it gets dark. At this moment, the stepmother said goodbye. "Just wait a moment. Mr. Zhu may be on his way back. Cherish every moment spent together with the one you love, especially on this romantic full moon night. You'll understand once you're married. Such beauty in life is actually rare. I should head back to watch over the store as customers should be arriving." The shopkeeper doesn't need to rush back. But the stepmother, said maid manager Tian's face turned completely red. After the stepmother left, manager Tian murmured, "What does that mean, stepmother? Is marriage not beautiful any more? Although I will be married next month, I am still an unblemished girl now. Soon she will return, a man and a woman alone together at night. Sigh, I don't know why, but I always feel very uncomfortable in this old house. Forget it. Let's hurry back to the shop. Oh, I almost forgot. My wooden book is still on the table." Just as she turned around, a little girl was actually using her wooden book to comb her hair. On the other side, Mu Zhaoqian was sound asleep on the eaves. A ghostly cry startled her so much that she fell from the eaves. At that moment she shouted, "Whose woman is screaming like a ghost at night?" Meanwhile, shopkeeper Tian ran out of the house in fear. Just at that moment, the two of them kissed directly. At that moment, Mu Zhaoqian silently murmured, "Wow, the kiss is gone. Junior sister, you can't blame me for this. It was that woman who screamed that crashed into us." At the same time, manager Tian frowned. It's only a month until the wedding. Now the kiss has disappeared. At this moment, in this situation, besides making small talk, I really don't know how to break this awkwardness. Just as shopkeeper Chan was getting into the swing of slapping his cheeks, Mu Zhaoqian blocked the hand that manager Chan was about to strike with one swift motion and said, "I asked if you've had enough to smoke. Does the big mouth not want a past life? Sister, can you allow me to say something? I think there should be some room for explanation between people. For instance, if I wanted to push you away for my own pleasure," then instinctively reaching out, perhaps due to the perfect height. So, hearing the shopkeeper Chan berate the little lecher as a filthy rogue, at this moment Mu Zhaoqian choked up, "All right, I've been a pervert and a rogue, I've hit and scratched. Let's discuss something next. Why don't you turn around and look behind you?" When shopkeeper Chan turned around, the little girl who just emerged from the mirror is now floating in mid-air. The little ghost was struck in the head and smashed to pieces by a man's ancestral magical artifact, the yin-yang three eyes. Unexpectedly, the little ghost's head miraculously returned to its original state. Just then, when manager Chan turned around and saw the little girl in front of him, he shouted, "Wow, there's a ghost." At this moment, Mu Zhaoqian chuckled darkly. "It's strange for a woman to stay in this eerie old house at night without seeing a ghost." Quickly flashed to behind the young master. Hearing this, the shopkeeper Chan asked, "Aren't you afraid of ghosts?" "I'm afraid there are no ghosts." Yulyo Mu Zhaoqian approached the little girl ghost and said, "Little ghost, it seems like you haven't even cultivated your divine sense, have you? The world is not fun, it's dangerous, cruel, and full of challenges. Do you want me to excite you?" At that moment, a wooden book hit Mu Zhaoqian's face. At this moment, he mentioned how rude the little ghost was. "You've made me a bit angry. I hate it when others slap my face. Before taking action, I want you to know who sent you to the underworld. My name is Mu Zhaoqian, Guangdong Wulu Mountain's disciple Ma. The treasure I'm sending you off with is a family heirloom. Yin-yang three-eyed conflict. The sun's fire sends people away from the earthly realm. Yin fire sends ghosts into the underworld. Everything in the world has its own laws. Do not force the separation of yin and yang. Little ghost, it's time to set off. Go to where you should be. Don't linger any longer." At this moment, the little ghost's head was blasted open with a large hole by the yin-yang three eyes. At that moment, Mu Zhaoqian stepped forward to take a look and asked awkwardly, "You seem quite pitiful too. Take this money to the underworld and behave." I hope that when you are reincarnated, the world will be at peace." Just as Mu Zioqian was about to turn and leave, Tian Zhangui pointed behind him and said, "Look behind you." When Mu Zioqian turned to look back, a little ghost with a big hole blasted in her head by the three-eyed fire. At this moment, it is slowly returning to its original state. During this time, the little ghost had fully recovered. Seeing this, Mu Zioqian was puzzled about what was happening. Oh my God! The ghostly body was blasted with a hole, but it could still regenerate. This is impossible. Could it be that he is not a ghost? He then said to the weasel beside him, "Huang Zio La, quick, let's see what this thing is all about." Hearing this, Huang Zio La clasped his hands together and said, "It's difficult to explain. Heavenly spirits, earthly spirits. The royal magic is the most powerful, transforming into a mirror that encompasses all things. The true form of all things is reflected in the mirror." Suddenly, Mu Zioqian held the royal mirror of truth transformed by Huang Zio in her hand. I aimed to see what the little ghost floating into the room really was. Surprisingly, the royal Guanjin mirror captured nothing in its direction. At this moment, Mu Zioqian was puzzled about what was happening. Not only does it fail to reveal the true form, but it can't see anything at all. In the dimly lit room, 7 white candles are placed. Just as the man stepped forward to take a look, he was unaware that a red and a yellow figure were standing behind him. Just as Mu Zioqian was still puzzled, the little ghost has already passed half of her body through the wall with the writing on it. Seeing this situation, Mu Zioqian said it was not of this world. That's interesting. Then he said to the weasel, "Ziola, you protect that sister who is already scared silly. I'll go in and take a look." Hearing this, Ziola said it's no problem. He then spoke to the shopkeeper Tian in front of him. "Hello, scared sister. I am Huang Ziola. The door of the animal kingdom is not as strong as steel. Carnivorous tree, stumbling and dazed, trained since childhood in the Changbai Mountains. Currently, it has not yet broken through to achieve human form. Ashamed." Hearing this, Manager Tan pinched the back of his hand and said, "The faceless little ghost, a robe descending from the sky. There is also a talking, shape-shifting weasel. Oh God, let me wake up." Meanwhile, Mu Zioqian had already entered the house. Looking at the situation before him, he found it difficult to understand. This house is filled with a heavy aura of darkness mixed with a trace of demonic power. It seems we need to be extra cautious this time. This is definitely not an ordinary evil spirit like those encountered before. What kind of person would live in such a haunted house? That woman is not like the owner here. Then, such strong negative energy in that room. Despite the talisman on the door, such strong negative energy is still seeping out. It seems that the things inside the town are not to be underestimated. This time I've encountered a big one. Such strong negative energy. The ghostly spirit dragon should have already formed inside. With three-eyed fire, he kicked angrily at the door covered in talismans. After entering the room, he looked very wary. Holding the yin-yang 3 eyes, I examined everything in this room. The first thing that catches the eye is a small bird that has already died. I then discovered that there were 7 white candles placed in the room. This is his difficult path. It is the soul-locking corpse technique. It turns out someone in the house is practicing necromancy. No wonder the evil energy is so strong. Not right. There is no corpse before the 7 spirits candle. Isn't it? On the other side, Manager Qian said to Huang Ziol on pointing out your monster behavior. Hearing this, the little music said, "How many times have I told you? I am not a monster, I am a fairy. Come on, practice with me. Smoking immortal, At that moment, a figure flew out from the window above. A person and a mouse also stopped arguing and quietly watched the figure flying out. At that moment, a heavy thud was heard as Muzayo fell to the ground. Suddenly, a female ghost's voice came from the upstairs. "Who has intruded into my home?" The yellow weasel originally intended to absorb the ghostly energy of the female ghost to increase its cultivation. But unexpectedly, the next second, the female ghost grabbed him and tore him into a belt-like shape. Just now, the woman in red jumped down from the upstairs. The green bricks shattered upon impact, and dismembered bodies flew into the air. At that moment, Manager Chan trembled as he asked, "This? Excuse me, may I ask who you are, miss?" However, the red-clothed ghost did not respond. She only made a frightening face. Tian Zhangui instantly fainted from fear. At that moment, just as the red-cloaked ghost was reaching out with its claws to act against Manager Tian, Mu Zioqian fired a shot directly behind her. The woman in red was surrounded by a yellow light and the inscriptions of talisman paper behind her. At that moment, Mu Zioqian said, "Maijan, do you want to absorb someone's vital energy? Young master isn't so easy to defeat." At the same time, flames crackled to life behind the female ghost struck by the three yin and yang eyes. Seeing this, Huang Ziol immediately moved closer. Well, 3 talismans were summoned. The female ghost must be meeting Yan Wang now, right? Ah, go obediently. Your ghostly aura will be used to enhance my magical staff's power. Unexpectedly, at that moment, the red-dressed female ghost swiftly grabbed hold of him. At this moment, Huang Ziol begged, "Oh no, elder sister, be gentle. Eldest sister, let's talk it out. Don't misunderstand me, great master. This master has a weak stomach. Well, help." The female ghost's hand resembled that of a yellow fairy. Seeing this, Mu Zioqian was also startled. During this time, there was only a sound of a thud. The red-clad female ghost was suddenly surrounded by a thick fog. Huang Ziola was able to escape. As he approached Mu Zioqian, he couldn't help but mock her. "HMPH, I want to say it's this immortal. You still lack a bit of refinement. How dare you treat me like a common person? This time, let you fully enjoy this immortal's illusion bow and arrow." Hearing this, Mu Zioqian said, "All right, stop talking nonsense. I saw you were so scared by that female ghost that you lost control completely. This is Huang Ziol arguing, isn't it? Sigh, wait a moment. The fart of this immortal is only effective on the living. Why is this female ghost like this? Has my magical power really reached this high?" Hearing Mu Zio say, "Stop being so vain. She is not a ghost. It is a corpse demon with a soul locked by dark magic. They are the dead who live between life and death. What you see on her head is the soul lock nail. The soul is trapped within the corpse, transforming into a creature that is neither human nor ghost. By the way, the flatulence of the Huang family is not just simply foul. Quickly take a look at what just happened." Huang Ziol carefully began to examine. The man bravely fought against the red-dressed female ghost, but the strength difference was overwhelming. Finally, I used the evergreen flower token to summon the snake immortal. Just now, Little La, the weasel, has finished the inspection. It turns out he just played the Huang family's temperamental fart. With anger flaring, he wore his crown askew. After understanding the fart released by Huang Ziola, Mu Zio Qian said, "Well, this corpse demon is inherently fierce. I just inhaled your fart again." At this moment, the anger of the red-clad female ghost surged towards the online rankings of the 100 families. Seeing this, Mu Zioqian exclaimed, "So strong! And they aren't afraid of my talisman's power. Let's get a bit rough then." At the same time, the red-dressed ghost rushed towards Mu Ziokian, quickly darted behind Mu Zio. With a heavy elbow strike, he hit Mu Zio's back of the head. At this moment, Mu Ziokian was knocked down to the ground. At that moment, he said that this damn woman must definitely love me while she's alive. Ouch! My head is buzzing. Isn't it meant to knock me down? Seeing this, Huang Zio said, "Zio Pian, we are not a match. Let's hurry and run. Less chatter. Ziola, you distract him to buy some time. I want. Do you want to? Please possess me, immortal. Got it. Leave it to me, the great master. Big. I have the chance to see the old immortal again. I better perform well. Come on. Try to taste the sarcasm of this immortal again." Ah! Meanwhile, the command from Mu Ziokian echoed through the old house. A bright moon shines over the 9 heavens. Under the moonlight, the disciple wishes to invite the immortal. The deity of labor has arrived. Suddenly, a carefree mountain snake deity named Qing called out. A giant python shadow shot out from the celestial tablet and darted towards Mu Zio's head. "Oh dear, a few days ago. I miss my great aunt so much. Your virgin state can only unleash 30% of your power. My lady, are we going to deal with this lion demon?" Still more than enough. The man was possessed by a spirit and was in a fierce battle with the red-clothed female ghost. Unexpectedly, the owner of the old house shot from behind. 2 men are conversing on a quiet path about the corpse being processed in the old mansion. At this moment, the man in military uniform spoke up. "Mr. Zhu, recently, the lion demons you submitted are all on dead corpses. The higher-ups have begun to express dissatisfaction. If this time doesn't work either, then that's because the raw materials provided to me were too poor. They were all people who lacked abilities in life. But this time, you can rest assured about the lion demon. Ensure immense power that can withstand thousands of troops." During this time, the man in military uniform spoke up. "If we still cannot deal with the soldiers of the previous dynasty, I can't help you anymore." Mr. Zhu said it's no problem. The snake spirit, Chang Qinghua, attached to Mu Zio's body, spoke to the woman in red. "Don't bother. No one has been able to break free from my blue and white plate yet. Even if you break your bones, it's in vain." Meanwhile, Huang Zio looked at this scene with admiration. "Well, the old immortal is so handsome. With the help of one's physical presence, one can display great power. When will I be able to reach this level?" At this moment, the woman in the red dress was being strangled tighter and tighter, screaming in agony. "Pig, aren't you a strong female ghost? You were quite the skilled fighter while you were alive." However, it was still a bit inexperienced in front of the elder aunt. Let your great aunt pull out your soul-locking nail. I've helped you find freedom, right?" Meanwhile, the 2 young men just arrived at this old house. Mr. Zhu immediately unlocked the safety on his handgun without saying a word. With a loud bang, it shot directly towards Mu Ziokian. The gunshot also caught the attention of Chang Qinghu attached to Mu Ziokian. At that moment, he secretly muttered to himself that it was not good. The hand that struck the small money is now useless. Look at my dull diamond. Big barely caught it. Zio Kian, if I could exert over 60% of my magic using your body, this thing won't even hurt the skin. Look at this tender hand. It's got a hole poked in it. It breaks my heart." At this moment, Mr. Zhu spoke up. "Where did this wild kid come from? Daring to run wild in my Zhuan's house. However, at this moment, the King who attached to Mu Zioqian did not pay him any attention. Instead, they used divine thoughts to send orders to Huang Ziola. Huang Ziola, obey the command, quickly took down his gun. I have prepared a celestial pill as a reward for you, my dear niece. At the same time, shopkeeper Tian said to Zhu Ziwen, Ziwen, you're back. Run fast. This place is haunted. Leave me alone. Didn't I say you're not allowed to come here without permission? Simon, why are you suddenly so fierce with me? You said I am your Tian Zio Xin Dan right. Zhu Ziwen turned to Mu Zioqian and said, Hello, I'm talking about you. Who are you? Why in my house? Who allowed you to lift the seal and destroy my formation early? You're asking about the adorable boy standing in front of you. It's still you're great at talking to you. I'll tell you. This young man is a disciple from Wulu Mountain outside our borders. As for the great name of this divine being, you are not worthy to listen. Outside the pass, the Maudaxian sect. Have you heard about it? Watch me take you down with a single shot. What else do you have to struggle with? Just as Zhu Ziwen was about to pull the trigger, Huang Ziol bit down on his hand in time. The gun in his hand fell to the ground and accidentally discharged. A red-dressed female ghost shot across to the opposite side. The one who harms can cast spells. Even the gods cannot stop it. Zhu Ziwen, who appears refined and cultured, is actually a sorcerer and practices extremely evil control techniques. Just now, the dropped handgun accidentally discharged and hit the female teacher. Zhu Ziwen was extremely annoyed. Damn it, there is also a yellow weasel. Wait for me to deal with the big snake before I catch you to be my assistant. Speak, Zhu Ziwen shouted. Control the first power. He raised his finger. A bright lantern was lit. He then tied a flame lamp to the top of the female teacher's head. Immediately recite the incantation, Ming Huo lantern, Ming Huo lantern. Under the bright light, the teacher's figure is illuminated. Open flames are burning, open flames are burning. Bright flames flicker, illuminating the dim world. The ethereal light breaks through the daylight. The blazing fire forges an immortal body. Surrounded by large flames, the female teacher. Even Qing had to avoid its brilliance. This person is not simple. Fortunately, I used the control master technique. The demoness, once refined by a bright flame, will gain immense strength. But if I come into contact with an open flame, the primordial spirit will be damaged. Zhu Ziwen smiled darkly. Commander, let's test the battle power of the Master Yao here. Sure, but you, this Master Demon, looks a bit familiar. Zhu Ziwen did not answer him. Shouted loudly, Ling Ying, listen to my command. You showed your skills in life. Eliminate the enemy. The female master immediately threw a punch at Chen Qinghua. Chen Qinghua couldn't help but feel disheartened. Such great strength. In the subsequent confrontation, she noticed that the female teacher's speed and agility had improved significantly. I really can't handle it. If we keep fighting like this, not only can the soul-locking nail not be pulled out, Zio Qian's body will also be harmed. Zio Qian, Auntie is taking such a big risk for you. Only Ling Qinghua emerges from the bridge, floating above Mu Zio Qian's head, then quickly entangled the female ghost. At the same time, they shouted, Zio Qian, I have entangled her. Quickly find an opportunity to pull out the soul nail. Zio Qian, hurry up. I can't keep playing Genshin Impact like this for long. Here it comes. At that moment, Mu Zioqian quickly ran to the front of the female teacher. It's time to remove the soul-locking nails. On the other side, Zhu Ziwen's expression changed drastically. Oh no, I will never let you break my law. He was about to grab the gun when a foot suddenly stretched out and kicked the gun away. Zhuan looked up, saw the fierce-looking officer. He wondered, "Commander, what happened to you?" Meanwhile, Mu Zio Qian pulled out the soul-locking spike from the woman's head. The lady's soul floated out from the top of her head. "Transform into a woman in red." Chang Qingyu then smiled mischievously. "Looks good. Release the soul. Now there's no danger." Huang Ziola wiped the sweat from his forehead and said, "This big guide is too tiring when he's empty. But it's finally done." At his feet, the commander was still gesticulating wildly. "Not knowing what blood I have been hit with." Manager Chan also wondered. "Another one is coming. This should be the sole right." But the little ghost who had disappeared before unexpectedly appeared outside the door. Zhuan secretly thought it was bad. Then the soul of the woman in red flew towards him. The woman in red spoke up. "Zhuan, you've lost weight again." She immediately showed a sad expression and said, "It's all my fault. Your illness has burdened you." Song Zhuan gently said, "Ming, actually I am." The woman interrupted her. "Zhuan, don't say it anymore. No matter what you did to me, I don't blame you. I only remember the kindness you showed me. Thank you for coming to propose to me even though you know my time is limited. Thank you for giving this dying person a chance to be a bride. You have had no family since you were little. My only wish is to bear a child for you before I die, so that you don't feel so lonely in this world. Every day I look in the mirror and imagine what my child will look like. I hope she will be a caring daughter. I must make her study. Don't humiliate like I do. Let her study medicine. In the future, many patients like me will be saved." She was wearing a school uniform, wearing a dung coat. "Leave the tombstone inscription you sent me for her. Let her use it to comb her poop clothes." Upon hearing this, shopkeeper Chan couldn't help but shed tears. She knew her feelings for Song Zhuan. It has already broken like that tombstone. The woman in red tightly embraced Song Zhuan, crying, "I'm sorry. My life is too short. I couldn't hold on until I could have a child with you." But at this moment, Zhuan recalled the words of the commander and his master. "Zhuan," the general said, "you need to help us deal with the ex-wife's emotions. Maintain the endless wealth and glory you desire. Wuding, the basis of Miss Lin's family. It's rare good material. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." Thinking of these words, Zhuan's inner desires were ignited once again. "I can no longer get through." "Absolutely." She raised her hand, pointing at your unreliability. "Ming, quickly return to your body. I want you to live well." "No, I don't want to return to that ugly, terrifying body. I am already dead, no longer belonging to this world. That facade should return to dust." Have you heard of a female ghost giving birth? The female ghost gazes at the mirror every day, pondering. Unexpectedly gave birth to a daughter out of thin air. Zhuan, who unexpectedly became a father, immediately scolded. Just now, the ever-watchful Changqing Huadao. She is truly a sensible girl. But it's a pity. Mu Zio Qian chimed in. That's really something else. At this moment, Zhuan was still talking about the female ghost in front of the Jilly circle. "Ming, it's okay. Believe me, you go back first. That body is just temporary. I have already found a substitute with the same destiny as yours. Once the task is completed, I will have my master help you with a soul. Let's live a good life together and never part again." The female ghost looked at the trembling Tian Zhangui. "Is that the girl holding my grave book?" "Yes." The grave offerings are meant to leave your essence with her. At this moment, Mu Zioqian's face was full of anger. Take out the yin-yang three eyes and start loading the gunpowder, at the same time gritting his teeth. What a venomous person! How could someone do such a despicable thing? Zioqian, why have you suddenly become so righteous? Do you want to eliminate violence and restore peace? Haven't you always been indifferent to others' affairs? Mu Zioqian paused for a few seconds and replied angrily, I just can't stand her. It seems that the previous target for administering the medicine was always Mu Shu. I never intended to hurt that woman. But why do I care about that woman? What does her life or death have to do with me? Now we have provoked the military. Things have gotten complicated. At this moment, the female ghost floated in front of shopkeeper Tian, carefully opening her helping knife. Is that you? At this moment, Manager Tian's face was filled with madness. Tears no longer filled my face. The female ghost continued to ask her, Why did you ruin my epitaph? Seeing that Manager Jian did not respond, the female ghost suddenly became serious and shouted, Why? On the other side, Zhu Ziwen smiled at the sight. In my heart, I feel joy. Great. A ghost loses its sanity once its emotions are stirred. Thinking becomes particularly simple. Take this opportunity to let her go back. Without further delay, Zhu Ziwen immediately shouted at the female ghost, Yin, you won't hurt her like this. Quickly return to your body. The female ghost is about to fall into a trap. A voice emerged. Don't listen to her. Your tombstone was not damaged by her. The irritable female ghost had already sent the message upon hearing this. Who broke it? Immediately after, Mu Zioqian pointed her finger at the faceless little ghost girl behind the door. It's her. This little rascal. I just noticed you peeking over there. The child looks exactly like Lin Yinyin described. What is it? When Mu Zioqian first saw, the female ghost whispered softly, Child, my child. Immediately after, the female ghost flew towards the little female ghost. The female ghost gently caressed the little female ghost's face. Such a thing actually exists in the world. My obsession with the mirror quietly took shape every day. On the other side, Mu Zioqian was bewildered. This works too. Then I have to alert the foolish Lin. Just let the mirror face you all day right. Silly boy. That is just an obsession too deep. The giant figure reflected in the mirror. It doesn't really exist. Once a mirror is broken, it will just disappear. Chang Qinghua's words were heard by Zhu Ziwen not far away. Her eyes instantly lit up, muttering to oneself, I see. It is a mirror. At that moment, the female ghost spoke softly with a serene expression. I have no regrets as long as I can see you before leaving this world. She stood up with the little ghost in her arms and said, Zhiwen, you should take a look. This is the child I thought of having for you. Zhiwen, where have you been? I'm here. Zhu Ziwen appeared at this moment with a mirror. Yin, you look at this mirror every day thinking about it right. Zhiwen, what do you want to do? Not doing anything. I just want you to return to the Holy Land quickly. Otherwise, what else could it be? Not so good. Then I will be excited. My hands will tremble. The mirror will shatter. The child will disappear. At this moment does the female ghost look sorrowful. Zhu Ziwen, a low, despicable one. You are shameless. You are too lewd. Don't move while I say this. How could you possibly understand us poor people struggling to survive at the bottom? Forget it. You are the young lady of a prominent family. You wouldn't understand even if I told you. I will count to 3. Hurry back to me. Zhu Ziwen called out the first number. The female ghost pleaded with him not to be perverted. He Zhuan then read out too, and lift the mirror high up. Otherwise, a hand suddenly attacked. Quickly snatched the mirror from Zhuan's hand. Immediately after, a gun was pressed against the back of his head. Shopkeeper Tian angrily said, "Zhuan, I didn't expect you to be so reserved with your feelings." Heaven, let me explain. Actually, Shut up. I will never believe you again. I only heard her voice. Zhuan and manager Tian turned their heads at the same time. It turns out that Mu Zioqian splashed a glass of wine on the lady. At the same time, Mu Zioqian also found a match. The next moment, the lady was hunted down by the bear. Mu Sheng Huo, fire breeds silkworms. Of fire, transforming corpses, the flames extinguished the worldly desires. From then on, severed from the treasures of the world. The void road is a great place to go. Returning to nature is like returning home. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Mu Zioqian, after 3 lifetimes. The female ghost flew to the sky holding the child. The female ghost didn't forget to thank Mu Zioqian before leaving. "Thank you. Finally, I can be freed." After the female ghost disappeared, a glowing pearl fell from the sky. Mu Zioqian asked in confusion, "What is this thing?" "High energy warning ahead. The heartless scoundrel Zhuan has finally died. It was not anyone else who killed him. It is the earthly messenger of justice, Mu Zioqian. Just now, Mu Zioqian successfully transformed the female ghost. After the female ghost dissipated, a glowing pearl was left behind. Looking at the bead in front of me, Mu Zioqian looked at him with disbelief, until the pearl fell into the palm. He slowly uttered 3 words, "Fui Ling Long." Suddenly, Mu Zioqian burst into laughter, tightly grasping the Gilling Long in hand. Finally saw one. This time it was truly worth the effort. At this moment, Chang Qinghui spoke up. "Zioqian, the rest is up to you humans. I'll be leaving first." "All right." Mu Zioqian spoke while placing Gui Linglong inside her clothing. "He is extremely excited now. They didn't even properly send off the great immortal. Chang Qinghui also doesn't mind." Just as I was about to leave, taught by the master hewing Ziol on the rooftop, Qinghui Senior, you took a hit for him, which cost you quite a bit of your cultivation. Chang Qinghui was speechless. This little guy is too nosy. He then took out a promised elixir and said, "Mind your own business. This is the elixir I promised you. You need the elixir more now, don't you?" After Chang Qinghui left, in the courtyard, Zhuan looked at the raging flames consuming the lady and let out a mournful cry. Finished. All done. He turned his head to look at manager Tian and said coldly, "It's all because of you. You have destroyed my hard work, ruined my wealth." At this point, he completely disregarded the pistol behind his head. Turning around, he grabbed manager Tian and shouted, "You despicable woman! You owe me my future. I want to kill you." Zhuan became more and more excited as he spoke. "The strength in my hands is also increasing. You return my riches. You owe me my future." Just as Tian Jiangui was about to be choked to death, Mu Zioqian cursed under her breath, "Son of a turtle." Then the yin-yang 3 eyes were aimed at him. "I'll kill you." At that moment, a gunshot rang out. It was actually manager Tian who fired the gun. Tian Jiangui did not aim the gun at Zhuan. He only made a hole in the floor beneath his feet. But the next second, Zhuan inexplicably fell to his knees with a thud. Tian Jiangui thought he was pleading with him. After all, they were once someone I loved. Shopkeeper Tian's tears welled up and flowed out. Turning his head, he said sadly, No need to kneel. I don't kill. You should go. I never want to see you again." As soon as his voice fell, I saw Zhuan lying in front of me. There is a dark hole behind. Zhuan felt cold. Now it feels completely cold. Upon seeing this scene, Tian Zhangui covered his mouth and muttered to himself, "Impossible. I didn't kill him. It's you." After a long moment, Manager Chan raised his head to look at Mu Ziopian in the distance. The yin-yang three-eyed charm in his hand is still smoking. At this moment, Yuing Ziol on the roof also had a shocked expression. "Mu Ziopian, why did you kill someone?" Yuing Ziola's voice just faded away. Suddenly, the sound of a motorcycle echoed from outside the courtyard. Accompanied by the sound of synchronized footsteps, he took a secret glance. At this moment, a group of police officers arrived outside the courtyard. The main gate has been firmly blocked. Mu Zioqian was taken to the police station. At this moment in the morgue of the police station, the police chief respectfully said, "Commander Cui, when we arrived, we only found these two bodies. A body burned to death, a charred corpse. At that time, you were disoriented. I can only wait for you to wake up before proceeding with the investigation." Colonel Cui, dressed in military uniform, asked with confusion, "I only remember entering Zhuan's house, and then it's all a blur. I woke up here." Then he changed the subject and said, "Director of the Travel Bureau, I give you 3 days to catch the killer. The one who was killed was an important talent in our military. It's happening again in your territory. The gravity of this matter. You decide how to handle it." Commander Q walked out of the morgue, his voice echoing from afar. "I'll be waiting right here. If we can't catch anyone in 3 days, you just argued with me at the military base." After Commander Cui completely walked away, the Travel Bureau chief showed a relentless expression, let out a cold snort. Not long after, he arrived at the entrance of a secret passage. Report to the 2 guards. Pass my orders. Martial law nationwide. No one is allowed to enter or exit. Yes. After the guard received the order, the director of the Travel Bureau slowly walked into the secret passage. "Don't forget to remind the guards to prepare food and drinks. Let the Black Rose attend to Colonel Cui. Molayo." They even specifically reminded that, "Let him rest well here." Soon after, a harsh voice echoed from a room in the police station. "Hello, Lord Travel Leader." A beautiful woman in the room draped her legs over Colonel Cui's neck and said, "Lord Traveller, stop thinking about those trivial matters. Let's have a good drink. As for Commander Cui, the insects have already startled the python." Showing a lewd expression, women have countless charms, various styles, while drinking for Captain Cui in high heels. The secret room respectfully said to Mu Ziopian, "Hero, I'm sorry for the injustice you've faced. This is also for your safety. You are Lu Yuyu, the police chief of Taping Town. The director's mother is so terrifying, carrying a group of ghost dolls on his back, shouting constantly every moment. Even later, ordinary food couldn't satisfy her. She is about to start eating people. In order to resolve some issues with my mom, Lu Yuyu chose to seek help from Mu Ziopian." After finishing her self-introduction, she said flatteringly, "May I ask how to address you, little brother?" Mu Zioqian shows no consideration for face at all. He said coldly, "Stop talking nonsense. What do you want to do by locking me up?" Such an attitude, feeding Lu Yuyu directly. She pointed at Mu Zioqian and said, "You ordinary nature. I admire your personality. Come here, Veitu. Let's drink and chat." On the other side, The Black Rose has already knocked down Commander Qi. She instructed the guards to take care of Commander Qi. The rector May ordered her not to go outside alone. During this time, the two people in the locked room have developed feelings for each other. Only listening to Lu Yu said, "So it turns out to be Mulayadi. I can see that you are a practitioner. Can you take a look at my palm reading?" Mu Ziokian blushed and replied earnestly, "From the look of your palm, you are a person with power in your hands." Lu Yu then pushed up her glasses and extended her hand. Brother saw it too clearly. "I do have power in my hands." This left Mu Ziokian speechless. She got straight to the point. "I said, Director LV, you risk hiding me, a murderer. You wouldn't just show me your tattoo, would you?" "Aha, of course not. Is there something evil in my home that requires my brother's help?" "Evil spirits have entered the house." "Yes. I would like to ask my brother to showcase his abilities." Mu Ziokian, after all, had her difficulties. "Given my current situation, I'm afraid I can't protect myself. How else can I help you?" Lu Yu patted her chest and said, "Brother, ordinary people who offend the military are doomed. But with me around, I promise you'll be fine. I'm not just bragging to you. Now, warlords are fighting chaotically. The president is like a rotating lantern. Don't be fooled by their outward arrogance. You never know when you might be chased away. In this taping town, I, Lu Yu, am the true master." After hearing this, Mu Ziokian nodded. "Not bad. Makes sense. Let's capture that woman. Let her go." LVUU laughed heartily. "So it turns out that even cultivators like you care about women. Brother, you say it, and that's how it is. Let her go." Mu Ziokian took the initiative to clink bowls with her. "Refreshing. I'll finish this bowl and then head to your place." Meanwhile, the cell door where Tian Chengui was held opened. The guard said to her, "You can leave now, miss." What happened before should be kept to oneself. Did you understand? Everything is taken care of. Lu Yu's family had an accident. The new maid saw the old lady eating heartily without listening. Kindly stepped forward to remind, "Madam, you can't eat any more. It will break." Unexpectedly, the old man put down his chopsticks and exclaimed, "Am I okay?" At the same time, she coldly stared at the maid. "Let her go get some food." Seeing the maid was silent, the old man's eyes were filled with warmth. He overturned the table. The maid was so scared that she was dumbfounded. Trembling all over, he kept muttering the words, "Old lady." The old man of the evil wind suddenly opened his mouth. Countless little ghosts surged out and pounced on the maid. After Lu Yu took Mu Ziokian back home, at a glance I saw the deceased maid. She immediately asked what was going on. Mu Ziokian replied with a serious expression, "This is how the ghost left blood and died. Director Lu, it seems like the things in your house are quite eerie." Upon hearing this, Lu Yu was about to leap forward to save her mother, but was stopped by Mu Ziokian. "I am so spicy, my dear. Calm down and take a good look. Is your mother sitting on the bed now?" After being reminded, Lu Yu calmed down. Then he spoke up. "On the surface, it seems that, but that scent was very unfamiliar. It was cold and gloomy." Mu Ziokian then spoke. "Director Lu, let the family members go out. Block all the light from this room." Lu Yu immediately shouted loudly, "Did you hear that? Everyone, go out and chase the light." He immediately pulled out a handgun. Next to it, someone said, "The director wants to see which wild ghost dares to cause trouble in my home. Since we are going to perform the ritual, nothing should be lacking." Mu Ziokian spoke again. Prepare 4 candles. 4 mirrors. I want this thing to reveal its true form." Lu Yu shouted again. "Come here. Bring the candle and mirror." He whispered softly, "Brother, it's your turn now." Mu Zioqian tidied her clothes and said, "Director Lu, step back. I am going to perform a ritual." Mu Zioqian gathered 2 orbs of fire in her hands and began to chant. "Shade the sunlight. Avoid the moonlight. Ignite the bright, flickering glow." In an instant, 4 candles placed by the bedside are lit. Mu Zioqian continued to chant while changing her hand seals. Wu Jialing's fiery heart bleeds true blood. The moon reflects in the water's surface. Flowers in the mirror. Moon in the water, reflecting the lake's light across the 3 realms. Golden flower, listen to my command. Reflecting ghosts and monsters, make your presence known. At this moment, only 4 candlelights illuminated the old man's figure. The old man was covered in countless little spirits. "What is this?" Lu Yu raised her pistol, her expression intense. "Commander, please remain calm. If we disturb them, your mother will die in an instant. Save it. Not everything can be solved with a gun. These are the vengeful spirits of the deceased infants. Just devoured a living person's life. It's very dangerous." Lu Yu anxiously looked at Mu Zioqian and said, "What should we do then?" "Another. Don't rush. If they want to harm your mother, it has long been harmed. These deceased infants had no evil intentions, only the most primitive instincts. But now I've tasted the essence of a living person. It will block the road. Harming humanity, devouring the old lady's essence, is just a matter of timing. Just wait until I finish my spell and capture them." Suddenly, Mu Zioqian asked Lu Yu to prepare new items again. Preparing to start the discussion, "This big-headed doll claims to be the white-browed hero. The subordinates are raising a group of boast eagles and not doing anything productive all day. The man came to subdue her in the name of upholding justice. Who would have thought this guy would disregard martial ethics? She suffered a huge loss right from the start. Just now, to thoroughly understand the origins and background of the ghost eagle, Mu Zioqian urged Lu Yu's mother to reveal the truth. The old man did not hide anything either. Begin recounting past stories. This story begins with Yu when she was young. Is it the world's or the emperor's? My family is also wealthy. As a result, the family fortune increased. Targeted by a minister's son, he colluded with local officials. They falsely accused Yu's father of a crime and arrested him. All the family property was confiscated. Actually, it all turned into their private quarrel. Her father was ultimately killed in the end. They also threatened my son and me. Do not mention this matter again. Even we might lose our lives. At that moment, I understood that there is no proof in this world. Power is truth. Later, the world changed. There is no emperor anymore. Yu has grown up and needs to go out to make a living. As I was leaving, I pricked her skirt with my palm. I want her to understand. No matter the circumstances, power should always be her ultimate pursuit. With power comes everything. Never be like her father, who only knows how to make money his whole life. In the end, the results are still prepared for those in power. Without the emperor, the world is in chaos. Warlords are dividing the territories. We have also established our own police station. Yu then went to join. After many years, I'm still just a foot soldier. Later, I heard there was a doll temple on Yeosh, and that was quite remarkable. I went to bring back a doll. The result is indeed true. In less than 3 years, the original director suddenly died. Before dying, he surprisingly let Yu take the position. At first it was fine, but later this child's appetite grew bigger and bigger. In the end, it actually started to harm others. Muzayokian listened to what the old man said. He picked up the knife from the doll his family worshipped. Raising dolls was originally a common dark art. It's normal to be backfired by greed, but I have never seen so many of my kind gathered together. They should have been very selfish and exclusive. Old lady, this is not an ordinary little ghost. Want to solve it completely? I need to go to that temple. How do I get to Yeashin? The old man answered truthfully, "Head north from Taping Town. There is a mountain with withered grass and trees in middle age. That is Yeashin. The doll temple operates within the mountain. Only those with intense desires can meet the one who is waiting." Muzayo Kayan heard and turned to leave. "Okay, then I'll go visit this doll temple." Musayokian walked back. Lu Yu muttered to herself, "If you can really handle it, I've made a firm friend." The old man sighed and said, the things in that temple are not easy to deal with. Dealing with him definitely comes at a cost." "Speak up." The old man revealed a bare wrist. "On the other side, Muzayokian has arrived at Yeashin, rushing to this land of extreme darkness. The director's mother truly went all out for her son." Suddenly, a voice echoed out of nowhere. "Welcome to Yeashin. Wu Qingxi felt your desires." Muzayokian asked in confusion, "What is it?" The voice came again. "So you came to find the doll temple?" Da Wusen asked. Feng Jian stood before the temple gate. "Is there fairness in this world? Where is the second righteous and evil realm now? What is good and what is evil?" Muzayo Kayan replied without hesitation, "Listen, first, I believe that the order of the world is always determined by the strong. The weak have no choice. Power cannot be spoken of as fair. Second, there is no distinction between good and evil. It's just a difference in perspective. Third, in everyone's heart, self-interest is also good. Harming oneself is also evil. I wonder if my answer will please the mountain god." A shadow appeared out of nowhere. Never have I fallen to such a state. Now I can recognize One Eye, the mountain god. The things in the temple are not of good nature. Ordinary people rarely encounter danger. Wan Ru San Si, Yali Shinglieta, survival of the fittest. Please guide us, mountain god. Thank you for your hard work. Okay, then inject your wishes into reality. Please, go ahead. The mountain god's robe is wide open. A small temple appeared. Muzayokian couldn't help but marvel as she entered the body of the mountain god. This guy has taken over the spirit of the mountain god, cultivating in the gap between the realms of yin and yang. The yin spirits cannot be restrained. Even the gods find it hard to perceive. Also gathered this group of heroic spirits as followers. Let them go out and celebrate with ghostly incense and Western vibes. Come back to submit again. What a clever tactic. I admire you. Thinking of this, Muzayo Kayan looked up and said, "My name is Muzayokian. What should I call you, esteemed one? This is the white-eyed hero king. You are able to come here. There is certainly a determination to realize one's desires. Let me take a look at the eyes of your heart. All right. If you can really help me achieve this, everything can be negotiated. However, to have me help you fulfill your wish, there will be a price to pay." The white-browed kingfisher's flowers fall, casting a spell to peek into Muzayo's heart. After a long time, Bai Mei Ying Wan Dao. "All right. I have seen what you are facing in your heart. This seat does not wish to provoke the yin demon. Please come back. The English king has passed 1,000. I see you have grown white eyebrows. It must have been quite a few years. Perhaps I've already come into contact with something within me that can help me fulfill my wishes. Let me fetch it. That would be a good deed. Fart, come on. Quickly take down this arrogant person. Come on. Come quickly. Kids, stop shouting. Your children have all been sealed by me. Your hands and feet are the price of those people's wishes, right? You help the wishmaker harm others for profit. Request a portion of their flesh in return. Do you want to piece together a life and live it again? I want to surpass the egg-laying petrification, reborn without going through reincarnation. You think you were truly born to defy the heavens. Really, I didn't expect you to actually have insight. But what can you do with that club of yours? Mu Zioqian smiled as she raised the yin-yang three-eyed dagger. You'll know when you hear the sound. Get ready to have your soul scattered. Not good. The visitor comes with ill intentions. Bai Mei Yingwen immediately spread his legs. The child's urine shot out and extinguished the flames of the yin-yang three eyes directly. Mu Zioqian raised her hand, filled with frustration, and shouted with the yin-yang three-eye technique. Little calf, I dare to use my urine to pull out a treasure. I can't kill you. It went completely off course. The mighty Bai Mei Yingwan was surprisingly subdued by a single sip of milk. What's even more annoying is that the one breastfeeding is actually a male-female hermaphrodite. Just now, Bai Mei Yingwan extinguished Mu Zioqian's yin-yang three eyes with a stream of urine. Mu Zioqian was instantly furious. He immediately used the yin-yang three eyes as a staff technique. You think I can't support you just because I can't start a fire? I am a versatile guy. As the words fell, Mu Zioqian was hitting Bai Mei Yingwan's head as if she were pounding on a bathtub. After being knocked for a full 3 minutes, Bai Mei Yingwen finally erupted. Grabbing Mu Zioqian's yin-yang three eyes, he threw it out. You were extremely rude this time. The golden body of the child I painstakingly cultivated. You've ended up in this sorry state because of you. This is how I will lead the world in the future. Ying Lei. Bai Mei Yingwan was furious. A punch sent Mu Zioqian flying. Then he began to cry sadly. Not letting me live. In death, the underworld does not guard. Even the ghosts won't let me do well. Now even my self-cultivation won't let me off. So be it. Since there is no way to enter from the heavens and no door to the earth, the path one carves for oneself is seen as a monstrosity. Okay, then let's just go all in. Destroy a realm. Let countless beings accompany me in death. Giant Bai Mei Yingwan completely erupted. Mu Zioqian said with concern, this is not good. He actually wants to perish together. His magic is strong enough to destroy an entire mountain. Are we going to settle this here today? Mu Zioqian thought to herself. A voice came from behind. Relying solely on brute force won't solve the problem. It will mess things up again. From afar, you could see this lump of strange fire wildly bursting. I knew it would be quite a commotion. The mountains outside are about to collapse. What kind of mischief are you up to? The newcomer has a golden light atop their head. Wu Zioqian exclaimed, could it be that the great immortal has arrived? Then someone said, there are no great immortals. There is a great immortal named Huang. Huang Ziola. I said since we've reached this point, let's not tighten up anymore. Poisoning. But Huang Ziol is my uncle's third son's foreign nephew's second sister's third grandson. You should call me fourth aunt. If you look closely, my fur color is a bit darker than Huang Ziol's. My name is Huang Kuihua, cultivating at the Xianren platform in the Kainshan Mountains beyond the pass. Great immortal, We'll introduce the plan later. Look at how things have turned out now. He loses control of his emotions when he gets a little stimulus. To think that for such a small matter one would give up their path. It shows that even after 1,000 years of cultivation, the mind remains the same. How can I calm down? Simple. Dealing with a child like this, you are this way and that way. What is this? This is so embarrassing. As a great man, how could I do such a thing? You humans just love to save face. Still pretending to be a fool, huh? Come help out. Why push without any insight? Mu Ziopian immediately helped him straighten the gong behind his head. Huancuitua continued, "Just do as I say. Ensure it works well. Otherwise, you might as well meet the king of hell." Seeing Huancuitua about to leave, Mu Ziopian immediately spoke up. "Old immortal, you're trying to dodge, huh? Aren't you royal folks the most loyal? Why did you leave on your own?" "I can't do it all." "So embarrassing. If you ask me, people like you, always caring about what others contribute to you. But have you thought about what you've done for the other person? Ziola's magic is too weak to enter here. Please ask me for help. This has nothing to do with me. Adventure has come to tell you that the methods to break the enemy are already quite sufficient. What else do you want? Why are you still pretending? Just that broken face. In the face of life and death, it doesn't matter much. Foolish humans. I'm leaving. If you listen to me, you'll survive. Don't forget that you owe me a personal favor. If I can't let go of my pride, I'll die here. Then let's pretend I never said anything. We shall meet again." This joke made Mu Ziokian's fur stand on end. "Yeah, why would anyone save me? My life is almost gone. What else is there to lose face over? All right, I beg you, Mu Ziokian is going all out. Just do as Huancuitua said. Life is more important than appearance." Then Mu Ziokian began to chant a spell. Money can make the devil push the millstone. Please welcome the ghostly immortal Li Wanru. Who calls for me? What brings you here? I am Mu Ziokian, a disciple of Wu Lushan. Summon the senior to subdue the Bai Meiying Wan. Oh dear, so it turns out the spirit medium is here to unite with me. They became flustered with embarrassment. Hurry up. In the final season, we both have to play the fool. Here it comes, here it comes. The young man is very impatient. On the other side, Bai Meiying Wang now looked desperate, let out a sinister smile. Suddenly, a voice entered his ear. "Bei, my baby, don't make a fuss. Look up and see who has arrived. Big white goose, scaring without taking off clothes, splashing water in pieces. It seems like white lotuses blooming one by one. Good baby. Are you hungry? Mother, hug me and let me drink." Facing this warm embrace, Bai Meiying Wang said in a daze, "Mother, I die." At this moment, the voice sounded again. "Bai Mei baby, hurry up. Sweet milk awaits your sip." "I." Bai Meiying Wang's eyes suddenly sparkled with starlight, then leaped into the warm embrace across from them, sighed. After all, he is just a child. Even the fiercest spirit cannot resist the longing for a mother's love. It's also considered a mutual relationship between objects. But my mother, every time I imagine her appearance, I felt the flames scorching my body. After a long time, Mu Ziokian was awakened by Huang Ziol. "Is that you, Huang Ziol? What's wrong with me?" "You. I've been dealing with retirement these days. Originally weak in body, let it easily settle on you. I was dizzy from morning until midnight. Really, it was your fourth aunt who suggested the Sioux bamboo to me. And Without my fourth aunt, you would have been long gone. All right, I will thank you properly, fourth aunt, when I have the chance. By the way, where is that ghost eagle? No, I cheered him over there. You still held on to him, even when he was unconscious. This little thing really has some impressive magical power. Anyone who enters this forest will immediately fall to his blade. I don't know what year this dead child is from. The eagle spirit remains unbroken. In this mass graveyard, a climate has formed. You knock his crown off. The soul is unstable. This is what lured that ghostly woman out. Little yellow weasel, isn't it a bit rude for me to say it like this? Why haven't you left yet? I said, big sister, can you say hello before coming out next time? This will scare people to death. Is this really a practitioner? Little Huanqi must learn to respect others. Xiao Qian, I will help you get it done. You haven't said how to deal with this child yet. This child has now lost all their magic. Like an ordinary eagle spirit. You see, it's better to deal with him right here. Still ask the eagle to take it down. Of course, we should find the eagle to handle it. I don't want to bear the burden of the eagle nation. At this moment, Li Wanru shouted loudly, Dui Chai Guan Yi. Suddenly, a gentle voice echoed, Yang Jian Tree, the road to the underworld. In the tangled roots there is clarity. The gate of the underworld opens towards the sky. The road to the underworld has no return. Who is summoning ghosts here? The unfortunate girl Wang Gihua was sold to a poor rural area. She was also forced by the old lady to share a room with her foolish son. The result was unexpected. Wang Gihua continued to tell Xiao Qian her tragic story. I didn't expect that silly guy to see me crying non-stop. It actually stopped. He sat beside for a long time. Not a word was spoken. That night, he was lying next to me. I can't dare to sleep at all. But he didn't touch me again all night. The next day, the old lady thought he had gained a hand. Constantly praising him, he didn't say anything either, just smiling foolishly. Several days passed like this. My actions have gained relative freedom, but only limited to activities in the yard. The old lady continued to stare at me without leaving my side. My silly son sleeps in the same room with me every night, but he never had any more expectations of me. This only makes me more anxious. On weekdays, he treats me very well. Let everyone share the delicious food with me. On the surface, they seemed like a loving couple. Even though he treats me well, I really like this feeling too. But I still can't accept the fact that I was bought from a bad person. I think, no matter how good he is to me, I also have to find a way to escape. But a few months later, a new problem has arisen. The old lady began to murmur about my belly. Why has it taken so long? Not frozen yet. Yes, you bought me back just to continue the family line right. I ultimately couldn't go against the old lady. One day, she stood straight in front of me. He spoke to me seriously about this matter. This time I have no choice. I can only listen to her. Then the old lady would watch my growing belly every day. She finally got her wish, but I was engulfed in endless fear, and it gets worse day by day, because my pregnancy is fake. We know we can't hide it for long. Days passed by one after another, when it can no longer be hidden. Something happened at her home. The old lady fell ill. It looks like the illness is quite serious. The kind that can't get better. The old lady called me over. It says there is something for me. I thought I finally had a chance to escape. Unexpectedly, she trembled as she took out a silver bracelet. She said this was given to her by her mother-in-law back then. Now give it to me. I borrowed a bracelet, knowing the meaning that this thing represents. I won't admit to being her family's daughter-in-law. Ren is about to die. I can't really say much. Then the old lady said, I know it was wrong of us to buy you, but for a family like ours, what other tricks do you have? Then pointed at my stomach. I really want to hold my grandson. I have made you suffer. Take out the mat, even if it's fake. But I am still very happy. Thank you, my dear wife. After speaking, the old lady passed away. At that moment, my feelings were truly indescribable. This home is really good to me, but I just don't feel a sense of belonging. I don't know how. At that moment, my mind went completely blank. It was by some strange coincidence that I'd put on this bracelet. Pansy buried the old lady. I have always been by your side. But she never looked at me, didn't say a word to me. It's over. She said to me, the old lady is afraid I have no descendants. I'm really sorry for you. I hope you don't hold a grudge. Now it's all clear. Let's go. You are free now. Without saying a word, I went over and hugged her. I understand now. This man is the one I should be with. So what if the milk comes? She is so good to me. What about my previous husband? It's still just back and forth. What does a woman seek in her lifetime? Isn't he just a man who cares for himself? I told her, once the mourning period for my mother is over, we will officially get married. From now on, live a good life with her. Have a child with her. In the future, take the children to pay respects to grandma. Perhaps I thought too highly of it. Fate did not let me go just like that. Just as I had just begun to feel happiness, something happened that completely shattered me. One day, a group of people armed with sticks suddenly burst into the house. Without saying a word, he came in and started hitting people. The man who was just lively and full of energy. In an instant, he collapsed into a pool of blood, motionless. I was so scared that I could only tremble. In the end, they took me away. No matter how I struggle, it is of no use. It turns out it was my husband. Find someone to inquire about my whereabouts and bring me back. But all I can think about are the men. So she asked her husband how he was doing. My husband slapped me across the face. Speaking of which, the man has arrived. Tomorrow I'll sell you to the brothel. I don't know where the courage came from. Continuing to ask. This time he was completely anxious. He was throwing punches at me. I fought desperately with him for my life. But I am a weak woman. How can we possibly defeat him? I was hit on the back of my head during the fight. One life has perished. For someone like me who destroys others, death may be a complete release. But I always have worries in my heart. So that in the end I never closed my eyes. I was casually buried in a mass grave on the outskirts. No one cares about my history. That eagle peck. The husband who was killed was taken to be sold to a merchant. Then the old lady bought a bracelet from the vendor. I always miss that home in my heart. So the soul was drawn in by the bracelet. After listening to Gihua's narrative, Sayo Kayan expressed deep sympathy. So what exactly do you want me to do? I will take revenge for you. No, I just want to go home. I want to take another look at Hansi. As long as I see him safe, I will let go of my wishes. No longer lingering in the mortal realm. I beg you. Sayo Kind sighed. Sighed. Pity your sincere heart. I'll help you then. But it's very dangerous for you to go out right now. If you encounter an eagle envoy, it will be disastrous. Gihua respectfully said, let's leave it at that for now. Gihua's face turned slightly red. Is this really okay? Sayo Kayan said, "Stop talking nonsense. Let's start. Come on, push harder." In the net, the next day, a strangely dressed odd person appeared on the street. Sayo Kayan said with great frustration, "I said, Wan Gihua, you really are something. I've never seen a ghost like you. You said to take you home. I don't know the way myself. In the end, I still have to give you advice on how to get clues about your husband. Where can you find someone like you?" Wang Gehua bravely apologized. "I sincerely apologize." Arrived. "This is the place." Zayo Kayan asked, "This is the family you married into while you were alive?" Wang Gehua nodded. "Correct." Wang Gehua felt a bit worried. "But can she obediently tell you?" Zayo Kayan said, "Just don't worry about it. Just wait and see. Her method is simple and straightforward. It's just pressing for answers. Smash the wine jar directly on the opponent's head. Young hero, calm down. Let's talk nicely. Wang Gehua's husband is also a man of color. I was just joking with you. Don't take it seriously." Zayo Kayan glared fiercely at the other person. "I'll ask you one more time. Where is that household after all?" He was about to light the alcohol on the other person's body with an oil lamp. Gihua's husband was so scared he wet himself on the spot. "Don't," I said. "Is it still not okay to say it?" "Wang Gihua, isn't it already? Why is Gihua's husband so afraid?" It turns out that just now Zayo Kayan called Lingti Gihua to return the oil lamp. Then her house was engulfed by the fire. She didn't want to kill him. She didn't want to kill him either. But everything is so coincidental. It seems like the cycle of heaven and earth. After many twists and turns, the two finally arrived at Hanzi's home. Sayo Kain asked, "Arrived. This should be the place." Osmenthes, "Yes, this is it. By home. Hanzi G." At this moment, Gihua's voice was even a bit choked. Zayo Kayan reminded her, "Hello, you will scare people like this." Osmanthus firmly said, "No, if you truly miss someone, no matter what she becomes, as long as I can see you, I don't care about anything else." Zayo Kayan empathized with this. Yes, she also longs to see Rongyun, but her soul has never appeared. "Hanzi Ji, I'm back." Gihua appeared at the door, very happy. "It's me. Did you hear that?" No matter how Gihua calls out, the other party also didn't respond. Zayo Kayan advised from the side, "Stop shouting. Humans and ghosts follow different paths. Ordinary people cannot see or hear it." Osmanthus felt a slight sense of loss. "Yeah, Hanzi Ji can no longer see me.